Hello and welcome to Biz, your work life sorted. I'm Em Burnham.
And I'm Lisa Lee. I'm a former head of people and culture, an organisational coach, and the founder of Learner, a micro-learning app that helps you learn the people skills to solve real work problems really fast.
Well, for this episode, we need some people skills.
Yes, we do.
Because I feel like everyone's been in this position, whether it's a presentation or just speaking up in meetings or even doing like a public speaking gig. A lot of people, it's exciting speaking up.
For me, it's exciting.
It's
but
exciting
I'm
for
weird.
you. I was going to say, and to those people, I say you're liars.
Yeah, I'm weird, but it's taken me a while to get to
the excitement
level.
phase. Yeah. Because I think majority of people, especially people who aren't used to it and have to do it as a one-off, it is probably the most nerve-wracking experience a person has ever gone through.
100%. I think the pressure to sound confident can actually make it worse.
Yeah.
Well, I've had plenty of moments where my hands were shaking or my brain went totally blank and I freaked. And after years of doing all this training in this space on myself, I really think that confidence in public speaking and in any setting is something you can build. Like, it's a real skill.
It's so true. And it's also just really annoying advice when someone's just like, just be confident. And you're like, okay, sure. Thank you so much. That's going to fix everything.
Yeah.
So this episode, we're actually going to give you practical tips that you can actually apply to any situation, whether it's what I said before, like speaking up in meetings or actually doing a public speaking gig, to build that confidence, because it doesn't come naturally for everyone. So, Lise, you did a survey on your LinkedIn.
I did.
Because we wanted to know exactly, because both of us do a lot of public speaking, a lot of presentations. So we wanted to know exactly what the core dilemmas are when it comes to people wanting to public speak for the first time. And what were your findings?
So 27% of you
Yeah.
said, I say too much. And I hard relate to this. I actually had no idea I was doing it until someone pointed it out to me. 17% say I'll ramble and lose my point.
Me.
Seen that happen. 21% of you said I blank and forget what to say. Now, I could never relate to this, but about 6 months ago, it happened to me mid-flow. It had never happened to me before, and it is the most terrifying thing when it happens.
Oh my God.
Like, my brain doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
What happened? And then 35% of you said I rush and speak too fast.
Oh, okay. So I think so many people experience at least one of these or all of these. I know I've definitely been in a position where I've done all of these. Even the word, like saying I say it in my like everyday language. It's either or like. I constantly say it.
Yeah.
And then every time someone pulls me up on it, because they're pulling me up on it so many times, it gets even more annoying.
Really? See, I find I'm more conscious of it than I start pausing and stopping.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't say don't say
You just have to be in the silence.
Yes.
So now that we know exactly what's freaking us all out, and I feel like it's a lot of common things, we're going to dive into actually how to fix these things and get over this. So I think when people hear the phrase public speaking, they picture like TED Talk, right? Like you're on stage with a microphone, with a presentation, you're not looking at any notes, and you're speaking to like thousands and thousands of people. I've had to do that recently. But it's not something that everyone does. And I think it's important to remember that public speaking can be brought down many, many levels. Like even just having a one-on-one where you're like rehearsing a presentation for someone, that counts as public speaking.
It 100% does. And so through this, I want to talk you through like a bit of a public speaking confidence ladder and how you can start to build that skill throughout as well. I think it's also what you're saying there. It's like the worst place to start if you're trying to build confidence. Like you wouldn't start a fitness journey by going, I'm doing a marathon, right? Like you'd start with, I'm going to run 1 kilometer around the block. The same thing applies with speaking.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the same.
So you've done a lot of training in the public speaking space.
I have. Now, I actually don't normally share this or talk about it because I think it makes people assume, or worse, think that I think I'm a really good speaker, because I'm not. I'm a work in progress, but I actually just really enjoy it. So when I was growing up, I did 9 years of weekly elocution classes.
What is that?
It's, if you haven't come across it before, elocution is basically the art of public speaking.
Oh, when you were growing up.
From 8 till 17.
And was this something 8 till 17?
8 years old until 17.
And was it something your parents were just like, you're doing this? Or were you like, I want to do this?
Oh God, no, I didn't want to do it. I was so shy. I love books. And they're like, we've got to give her something that will build confidence. And then as I started to do it, obviously I started to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So did that. So that gave me a really good
So
foundation.
you're like a child prodigy of public speaking.
Public speaking. Went to public speaking school. I've also had one-on-one coaching in public speaking because I obviously do a lot through work, and I did a lot previously in a lot of my other roles. I've spoken on stage at Carriage Works to 1,000 people. I know you've also done some large crowds too. And then I took it to the next level this year, and I went to NIDA and learnt all about public speaking there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was really, really interesting. And this was more about learning the craft. So that makes me sound like this walking TED Talk, but I'm not.
She loves speaking.
I just like speaking. I'm also pretty comfortable with public speaking now, and I actually enjoy it. So I still get nervous though. I'll still rush, or I'll still brain blank at times. So I want you to know you can do all the training in the world, and it will gradually make you feel more comfortable. But the nerves just tell you that you're excited and you're interested in it, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I think it's worth sharing today is so you have some idea where some of my tips are coming from, because some of them will be a little bit technical in terms of the preparation, etc. And you and I were talking about this earlier. Remember, Em? Everyone sees the end product.
Yeah.
And you want to know the process of how someone gets there and gets up on stage or gets into that meeting and goes and just delivers.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the process.
Which I'm really excited about, because I feel like when it comes to public speaking, especially exactly what you said, actually, how it is still nerve-wracking even for the biggest public speakers that are in the world.
Yeah.
And going through the process is quite vulnerable, because you're actually having to show yourself that, oh, I am not prepared until I am prepared. And like talking through that process, I always get my back up a little bit, because I'm like, oh, I don't want you to know, like, see me broken down in this part. I want you to just see what I look like on stage at the end level. But it is so important to know.
It feels really personal too, as well, when you're delivering, because there's nothing to give feedback on apart from how you personally are delivering.
Yeah.
Have you done a bit of training, or have you self-taught? Have you watched people? Like, have you had some coaching? What
I
did you
haven't
do?
done any training. The only training I've done is my mum's a really good public speaker, and she got that from my nana, who's also a public speaker. And it was more just like one-on-one, I guess, training. Every time I had to do like a speech at school or a presentation or a group prezo, they'd always force me to do it in front of them.
Yes. That's good. You probably take that and run it now, don't you?
It's so good. But when I was younger, I was like, I would avoid telling them I had a presentation coming up, because I knew they'd make me do it in front of them. Like, I'd avoid it at all costs.
How much do you thank them now? I'm very thankful now for the elocution lessons.
It was the best thing they've ever done for me. I mean, they've done great things for me, but that was the best. That was 100% the best.
You can tangibly use that today in your job, and you think of them when you do it, right?
Yeah. But it is like, especially when you're so vulnerable about what you're speaking about, and plus you're in a vulnerable position just in general, having someone give you that direct feedback on the way you talk and the way you present and what you're saying and what you shouldn't be saying and what you should be saying instead, it's so hard to not take it personally.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a performance review.
It is, yeah. But a performance review on you on stage.
Yeah, and you're just standing there by yourself, and they're just sitting there in front of you.
Exactly. But I think what we want you to know out of this is there are small, gradual things you can do to make yourself feel more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And also just gradually get better and enjoy it. If people walked away from this and started to enjoy public speaking a bit more, like, that'd be a great thing.
Oh my God, how good for the world.
So we're going to help you build that muscle memory and get you doing it, because I think the more that you can find some low stakes ways to speak up, the less it's about this big moment, this big reveal.
Yeah.
So I talked about it before. Let's talk about the public speaking confidence ladder.
Okay.
And some steps you can kind of take. So low stakes first.
Yeah.
You'll have some ideas on this too. So if we're talking low stakes, like, this is where you want to flex your muscle in safe spaces. And you were talking about this before with the meeting thing, right? So you could start with contribution first challenges. What I mean by that is that, you know, if you're in a meeting and you're like, I should say something.
Yeah.
And if you don't say something up front and you sit there for like 40 minutes and you're waiting, all you're thinking about is like, I need to say something. I need to say something.
And you're not taking in anything else that's happening in the meeting.
Nothing, right? And the nerves build up. So by the time you speak, you're like, oh shit. If you can speak up once in every meeting and try and do it as early as possible, what happens then is you get your voice out and you can get it heard. And then you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Maybe I have something else to say.
Yeah.
And I'll say it again later. So that's a version of public speaking.
Yeah.
So you can
Oh,
do that.
that's actually a point that my mum would also make me do. She'd be
Yeah.
like, say one thing in every meeting you go to, and if you have nothing to say, ask one question.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that still counts. You're still talking in
yes,
public.
I know. And do you know what? The best part is you can pre-prepare that question.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's not like total off the cuff stuff. You can also rehearse in low pressure environments. So try running it past a mum, a team member, nana, whoever that might be, who can give you some feedback and it doesn't feel confrontational or like a performance review where you're standing in front of them.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it. And the other point is for low stakes, and I do this all the time, I record myself. So voice note.
Ooh.
So if I know that I'm going to deliver a presentation or public speaking or a really high stakes meeting, I will record a voice memo and then I'll play it back. Because when you take out the visual, right, and you just listen to what's going on, you start to hear pacing. So am I going too fast? You start to hear filler words as well.
Yeah.
The ums, the likes and everything. You also hear what's called upward inflection, which you would know is like when every sentence sounds like it's a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you always talk like this?
Oh, and is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the stuff you start to spot just by listening and taking out all the visuals and stuff. Listen to yourself back. So there's some low stakes ways you can start to build that muscle. Is there anything low stakes you've done when you were starting out, when you were like, okay, I need to just kind of rehearse and practice here?
Oh, yeah. There's been a few, and it's a lot of things that I've had to learn on the way while doing it. Because I do want to say, like, even if it's your first time speaking up in a meeting or doing a presentation, it's not going to be the best.
No.
Because you get better as you do it. It's like a muscle. Like you have to constantly practice and get better. And there's just been so many times where I presented and it's just not landed. And it's usually those certain situations where it sticks with you at like 3 a.m. and you suddenly remember and you're like, oh my God, remember when I did that shitty joke and no one laughed and it was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
If you do that all the time and you have more and more of that, it's not going to be the one-off where you're just constantly thinking about. Like, I just want to tell everyone that you will like fumble and like mess up multiple times the more you do it because you're just putting yourself out there more. But while you're doing that, you're also getting better.
Yes, I know. And so if you can find these low stakes like moments, the meeting, your tip on the question was like brilliant. Ask a question, pre-prepare it.
I also, which I don't know if is like a bit of a red flag, but if I am presenting in front of like a big team and it's like a boardroom or something.
Yeah.
I don't wear my glasses because I need glasses for like distance. So I can't actually see their faces.
Oh, that's
because
so
one
good.
thing that throws me, and this happened recently at an award show where I was accepting an award.
Yeah.
And I was like talking and it was like such a low stakes presentation, but you're still presenting, like you're still thanking people for the award and thanking the company and thanking your bosses. And the table right in front of me were just talking so loudly to each other, like passing each other plates, cutting their steak.
While you were talking?
While I was talking.
Ooh.
And it was the first time, and this was after the Out Loud show, like after I did a presentation for like thousands of people.
Yeah.
And it was just like a group of 5 people. And I completely went blank because all I could see was them just not engage with me at all, not make eye contact. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, I don't know where I'm doing. Like, I'm so boring.
You get in your head
Immediately.
Yes.
In those situations, find one person who's looking at you.
I know.
One person who's looking. There will be one, at least one.
Yeah.
Find them, hone in on them, and you will just suddenly get that boost of confidence and you'll get back on track. That's my one tip.
And those people at the table, you would be like in your head, I would be like, you are so rude.
Like,
imagine if you were up here and I was having to listen to you.
I'm sorry you didn't win the award, but
find me in the room. I am always sitting there like so respectfully looking at the person and like locking in. I'm like, you got this.
Which is another tip. Like no matter who's presenting in front of you, just know everyone's in the same boat. Like everyone's nervous.
Yeah.
Give them the time of day.
Yes.
Like watch them, look at them, engage with them, nod, frown, like be a character for them because it is so comforting being on stage when you see someone who's actually engaged in what you're saying and who's like nodding along and like boosting you up. Like it's something so simple you can do and it just helps so much.
I love that. A bit of public speaking karma.
Yeah.
Because you will be the other person up there on the stage one day and you will want that person nodding along. So let's move to mid-stakes. So say you're comfortable in that kind of setting. What you want to do next is probably add a little bit of complexity and unpredictability. So you could go no notes. So present for 2 to 3 minutes without relying on slides or notes. So if you think about it, like 2 to 3 minutes of conversation might be about the equivalent of 2 slides. It's usually like 1 minute per slide.
Yeah.
and just focus on your structure and your flow for that. So that would be your next level of like testing yourself out. The other one could be take questions by choice. So you can prepare for a meeting and you can prepare for a presentation, but when you take questions at the end and go, has anyone got questions? Whoa, there goes the unpredictability. I don't know what Em's going to say. I don't know what Soph's going to ask me.
Yeah.
And so that is almost like public speaking on the spot, but in a small way, right? You're answering one question.
That's so true.
The next thing you could do is start to change the audience mix. So get like a cross-functional group or people that you don't normally present with or know very well and get them in. So you get a different crowd of people that you're not comfortable with. Because at some point, once you've gone through the low stakes stuff, you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm totally comfortable presenting to my team. Throw an unfamiliar face and you're like, yee, okay, this is a bit different. So those are the kind of things that are mid stakes. Something I used to do, I don't do it anymore, but when I was getting comfortable with presenting, I always used to sit at the back of the room. Like, you know, if you're presenting in an all team meeting.
Yeah.
No one knows this. I'm just sharing this. So people who worked with me clock onto it now. I used to always sit at the back of the room because they go, okay, Lisa's coming up to present on such and such now. And I'd start talking and start my presentation as I was walking down to the front, because then I wasn't looking at, I know, right?
That's smart.
I wasn't
That's
looking
so
at anyone. They're like, oh, this seems casual and like kind of conversation. I like this. And like, she seems like she's in flow already. So by the time I turned around 20 seconds later, I was already in the motion.
Flow. Yeah.
So that's something that worked quite well for me when I started to add in unfamiliar faces.
Oh my God, that's such a good tip.
Yeah. So it was one of my favorites. I did a lot for a while. I don't do it anymore, but because I'm often not at the back of a room. But that's a good one if you're in an all-team meeting. So then let's go high stakes. So let's say you're comfortable with all those things. Yeah. High stakes to kind of build the ladder. This is full under the spotlight. This is, you would know a lot about this, Em. Presenting on stage, like high stakes, big important meetings. It doesn't even have to be a lot of people. Like it could be 20 people. Yeah. But 20 people that you're like, okay, shit, this is pretty important.
I honestly think after doing like so many presentations and like speaking in front of so many people, after 50 people, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Like 50 versus 2,000, like I honestly felt the same for me.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah. At 1,000, I did 250 last week, and it was, I mean, I was in various stages of being comfortable with it, but yeah, 250, 1,000.
Yeah, it all just kind of like
you can't see all the people.
You can't see all the people, and it's the same amount of nerves. Like it's not like the more people you present with, which I think a lot of people think it's like the more nervous you get. Like you don't get 0.1% nervous on each person, like because then that's just like uncontrollable. Yeah, it's like all about the situation, and so many things impact it, like the type of stage, like how many people you can see. Like if you're in an arena and you're just looking at like thousands of people, you'll only see like the first 2 rows because of the lighting. Yeah, and then you'll feel like you're just talking to like 50 people.
The thing that throws me is when people stone face you and give you nothing back. Yeah. That's the part I find the most challenging, whether it's 50 people or actually, you know, it could be like 20 people right up to 1,000. I'm like, if you're giving me nothing, then you start to get into your head. So
especially people you don't know, right? Yes. Like if you're presenting in front of a group of strangers who not only are you have to present for, but you have to convince them that you're like a likable person.
Yes, and you know what you're talking about.
Whereas it's so much easier, I think, if you're presenting internally, like at the office, or people who like know you or knows your sense of humor, because they're already getting around it. Like they already know they're going to have a good time.
And that's because you're at that comfortability level, right? Yeah. There will be people who are listening to this going, I can't even present in front of the whole team. Like that's nerve-wracking. I remember being in that situation myself.
Yeah, right.
And you go, everyone's looking at me. Yeah. Some people will equate that to even being more intense because they're like, these are people I know and I have to run into afterwards. So everyone's working their way through this kind of confidence ladder around skills, and you've got to gauge where you're at and where you can like just slightly push yourself outside of your comfort zone to see what you can do. Because once you do, honestly, like last year when I presented to 1,000 people and I hadn't done that before, you come off and you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I just did that.
It's
like
insane.
You get
it's
like
such
a
good
high
feeling.
Off it, don't you? And no one cares if you stumble. No one knows your content. No. Just go with it.
Because if you stumble, people are like, well, she is presenting in front of thousands of people. So
it happens.
It happens.
If it is high stakes, one of the things I do, and I don't know if you do this, but I do like a bit of a timed run through. So I know like pauses and where I'm going to start, and I can recover if I go off script. Yeah. So I practice and know it. but I don't necessarily deliver it word for word.
Yeah, I did the same, except I had to learn that as I went.
Yeah.
Because mine, I think when I present in front of like thousands, it's more of like less of like a presentation and more of like a stand-up gig. So I had to really figure out exactly where I expected the audience to laugh or the audience to like understand a joke or like get their heads around it. And it is really hard the first time you do it to wait in the silence and wait for them to react because it does feel like a long delay. Like it's not when
Feels
you're
like
in the
ages when you're up
audience, but
there.
it feels like it's an hour
Yeah.
of you just waiting for them to react. And I think that's what I struggled with is like knowing exactly where the audience are meant to react and pausing in those moments instead of just keep like going and letting it just like float over their heads.
But you know the best part is that everyone hates silence. And so even if you pause, and it was a joke, let's say it was a funny joke, they'll naturally kind of want to fill it.
Yeah.
One of the other things I would say as a tip in this space, like if you're moving through this ladder and you're like in a high stakes piece, is just fine tune the first minute or two. So like script that, memorize it, know it off by heart, because then you can transition into more of a natural flow, because a lot of the adrenaline comes from that first few moments, don't you think?
Yeah.
When you first start speaking. So if you've got the confidence to go, I know these first two sentences and what I say from there is just reinforcing that, great. Yeah. And then debrief. I love a debrief. Afterwards, not beforehand, not the minute before I'm going to work on.
Not debrief beforehand.
Please do not give me feedback the minute or the day before I'm going to walk on, but the day afterwards, to kind of keep this like running log of, okay, what's working well, what could be better. I asked a friend for feedback yesterday and said, hey, you've seen me presenting quite a bit lately. What could work well? What should I work on? We are all constantly a work in progress, and he gave me some great tips as well. So I think the goal is really like focus on controlling what you can, which is your timing. You can learn your strong start, your first few minutes. And then that post-event learning, like it doesn't just stop. You don't go, well, I delivered on stage for out loud and I'm done now. So I'll just do the same next year.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
see you next year.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Do the debrief, because once you find out those things, they kind of make you more confident, don't you think? Because you're like, oh, I know that about myself and I know I can change that.
And you can practice that in between like your presentations. Like you can practice that like in front of other people, the person who gave you feedback.
Yes.
But it really helps because it also helps you know what other people see that you might have missed yourself.
Yes. And that's the important part, right? Because sometimes we're so in our head and we're like, oh, they obviously saw me stumble. They obviously saw me blank, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So it's good to get that like kind of feedback going, so you get that reinforcement around what's working and what's not.
So I did a call out on my Instagram stories for anyone who has any obstacles or dilemmas that when it comes to public speaking or presenting or speaking up in meetings, at work, anywhere. And I got so many responses. I got
imagine.
Heaps. So we wanted to quickly, now that we've taken you through the ladder of like how to prepare, how to present on different stages of your presentation journey, we wanted to tackle some quick fire dilemmas to give you just some like really small actionable tips just for those little things that kind of keep our brain going and making us really, really nervous for speaking.
Because I think we've both faced all of these, right?
I faced every single one of these.
Yeah. And so I think each of us will have a tip. We'll go rapid fire.
Let's go rapid fire. Okay. How do I stop saying
So I now pause instead of filling the space, because when you're saying you're doing it to fill
a space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So think of silence as punctuation. It makes you sound more thoughtful, not unsure.
There you go. Easy. What if I ramble?
Do you have a tip for Do you say
I say a lot. What's my tip for
How would you stop yourself saying
I have actually replaced in my vocabulary with the phrase you know. So it's kind of reaffirming like everything you've said before. Instead of saying I'll be like, you know?
I like that.
And it's like an action. And then people are like, yeah, I do know.
I do know that.
I do know that.
I do know. I like that. So you're replacing
like
a filler
phrase,
word.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're using that to reel them. I just said to reel them back into it.
Yeah. To reel them back into it, but also because I struggle really hard not to say like it's something that I'm still working through. You'll hear me say it multiple times in every podcast I've done. If you're not hearing it, it's because our beautiful audio producers are working overtime to take it out. But in my everyday speech, because I also say it in my everyday speech, and I think that just transfers, like it's always amplified everything you do every day in your presentation, right? It feels like such a safe space to just be saying and talking like how you normally talk.
Yes.
And in my everyday speech, I try to replace it with, and it's so seamless and so easy. It sounds so jarring in my head because I never do it, but no one notices.
No. And if you find yourself about to say it now and pause, you can almost see people lean in to go, what is she going to say next?
Yeah, it is really
so,
hard though.
Yeah, use the powerful pause would be my tip.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to rapid fire.
What if I ramble?
Ooh. So I use the 3 things rule. So before you speak, you know your start, middle, and end point.
Mm-hmm.
So if you drift off, you can always come back to those. Like think of them as like anchors.
Ooh.
When I was coached on public speaking, because I was working on a keynote, someone gave me the tip of headline, proof, connection. Almost like, what's your hook?
Yeah.
So you say something.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could give you an example now. Don't have one. You say something, a statement. You go, this is happening. Here's the reasons why it's happening, etc. And your connection is, and this matters because, and you bring it back to why they would want to know something about it. So instead of 3 things, I know a lot of people use like, I have 3 things to say. The first one is, I often use headline, proof, connection. So I know where I'm at.
I love that. Okay, that's a good tip because I'm a massive rambler.
Andrea Clark, who we interviewed for this podcast, gave me that tip. So
Oh,
we'll credit it to her.
Amazing. What if I blank? You had this recently.
Oh, this happened to me. It's never happened to me before. Do you want me to tell you when it happened actually?
Yes, please.
Here. So I was coming in here to present on Learner.
Oh my God, yeah. I was there.
Yeah. I brain blanked during that.
Did you?
Yep.
Didn't notice.
It's never, ever happened to me before. In all the public speaking I've done, I knew what I was talking about, knew what the questions were, knew what I was going to say, and I got a couple of sentences in and it's terrifying when it happens. You're like, where are the words? Is my brain still turned on? So because it had never happened, I didn't know what to do about it. Afterwards, like as a bit of a like post debrief, I was talking to a coach about it. The thing is, no one actually knows what you're going to say. Yeah. Only you know what you want to say.
I had no idea. Like, it's not like everyone's like, oh, brain blank.
Oh, why is she going quiet?
Brain blank alert.
Yeah. So there are things you can do. If it happens to you regularly, it doesn't happen to me regularly, but if it does happen to you regularly, maybe just like think of a lifeline phrase. So that's a great question. Or, here's where I'd start. Like give yourself some time to catch up and think because it really is just your brain just playing catch up.
Right.
Yeah. Ask a question back. I've seen someone use that really well on a panel. They ask the actual MC a question back to give themselves a little bit of time to then think of their answer.
That's so smart. One time I brain blanked and what I did was I just started talking about the next thing I could remember in my speech.
Okay. Yeah,
and
that's
then
a good tip.
When I remembered what I blanked out, I'd be like, oh, sorry, I forgot about this. Let me come back to that.
Yeah, and you can just go, and also
jump around. You're in charge.
Yeah.
You're in charge.
No one knows what you're going to say.
Exactly.
So I think that is where you want to go to.
How do I stop speaking so fast?
So this comes from full like fight or flight mode.
You're really good at not speaking fast. I'm horrible at it.
Yeah, I have to intentionally slow myself down. I used to speak really fast and you'll tell if I get excited about something, I'll start speaking really fast.
Yeah.
So I intentionally slow myself down. But when you're standing up in a meeting or you're on a stage or delivering a PowerPoint presentation, it's the full fight or flight that kicks in. It's the adrenaline. And that's why you start speaking fast because it's almost like a trigger and you go, if I can just say this as fast as possible, I can get off this stage and the camera can get off me.
Right.
That's why you're doing it. So the one thing I do, and I do this when I'm speaking on panels, I'm just giving away all my secrets here.
It's so good.
You're going to be like, what is she doing right now?
It's so juicy.
So when I'm on a panel and I go up and sit down, do you know about box breathing?
A little bit. Explain it to me.
So I'll go up there breathing is a normal thing, right? No one can tell that you're doing that. But I sit down, everyone's getting settled, and I'll do box breathing. So box breathing basically calms your nervous system. It's where you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and then breathe out for 4, and then hold for 4. And so I do 3 rounds of that normally when I go and take my seat, and no one can tell that I'm doing it. And so all of a sudden I feel like this calm come over me, and I'm like, I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's so good.
So
Because it
that's-
is like an anxiety trigger, right? Like when you're
Yeah.
speaking fast, it's like an indication that you're having an anxious moment,
Yes.
that you're very nervous,
Yeah.
and breathing and like counting your breaths and like slowing down helps so much.
I think it just helps ground you as well. Like not only does it
Yeah.
obviously like physically it calms your nervous system, but it brings you back to the moment and you kind of go into yourself, I've got this. I'm going to breathe and then I'll be okay.
I get this a lot in podcasting, especially when I do the spill, because it's like we're doing topics that I'm very, very excited for, especially when we do recommendations of TVs and movies. And I speak so fast that I've actually sometimes I get tongue tied.
Yes.
Where my brain is moving fast, and then the muscles in my tongue, and I've had to look this up because I didn't actually know what was happening to me. The muscles in my tongue were moving so fast and then they just stop.
Sees.
And I can't get words out, and your tongue's not moving, and you like my words were slurring, and breathing, like taking a break. And it's lucky we can do this in podcast because it's audio, and I can just say, I need a breather.
Yes.
And then you do some deep breaths, and then speaking slowly after your deep breaths fixes that.
I think you've also got to think about your audience, right?
Yeah.
If you want them to hear you and you want that to come
Yeah.
across really clearly and
They're
you
like,
want to land
I didn't know I was
point,
listening to this on 2 times speed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry.
Whoa, I got to slow that thing down. I mean, when you're delivering a presentation, a podcast, a keynote in a meeting, you need to remind yourself what you're doing it for. And it's in service of, I need to land this point, or I need to connect with this audience, or I want to make them feel X, Y, Z. And so if you rush through it and you just keep powering through, they're going to be like, sorry, what did you say?
Yeah.
So we need to work out ways to like physically calm ourselves down. So that's a good tip.
Just breathe, girl. You've got this. Okay, what do I do with my hands?
Oh, this is really interesting. When I was at NIDA, they basically they recorded us on video and we had to watch everyone back and watch yourself back, which is always cringe. But so many people don't know what to do with their hands.
Yeah.
And so there'd be people with like hands by the side, like, and they look like a robot, and they'd like almost like start moving like that, or they'd start fidgeting, or hands in pockets and stuff. You really just want them like relaxed at your waist somehow.
Yeah.
Most public speaking experts will tell you not to do this, but I'm going to tell you to do it. One of the things that helped me with like a shaky hand or not knowing what to do with it at the start is I would always wear pants with pockets.
And you put your hands in your
I put one hand in the pocket.
Okay.
Because apparently 2 hands in the pockets is not good body language.
Yeah, too
So I
casual.
go, yeah. Too casual, or too like, I don't know, they're going to run away, or are they playing with money or keys in their pockets?
Yeah.
One hand in the pocket, bit more casual. One hand by your side, or use it to gesture.
That's a very cool look as well. Like
Well,
if
there
you're
you
doing
go.
that on stage, I'm like, that's a cool person.
Yeah. They look like they're really relaxed up there.
Yeah.
2 hands, not so much. 1 hand, yes. And you can hide your hand away, and then you know where to put it, and it's kind of at your midpoint where it should be. Don't want them up here, don't want them down here. But we do want to use gestures to reinforce what we're saying.
Yeah, I also would say that just also be aware of your hands, because when I was doing the Out Loud tour, my bit like involved props where I had a big whiteboard and I had a whiteboard marker and I was like writing all over the whiteboard on stage. And then in the times I was talking, I would just hold the marker in my hand and not realize that I've
I fidget.
not even fidget, but I think because I was using it as like kind of like a stress toy.
Yeah.
Like there was one time I got off stage and I had just like blue marks all over my hand just because I was just like poking it and like twisting it and like fidgeting with it.
Yes.
And then the other shows I did, I just had to know, write with the marker, put the marker down. And I
Let
would just
go.
kind of like hold my hands like together kind of by my side.
Yeah.
Cool. Like lean a bit, like lean into it. Like,
Yes.
I think it's so you feel like you're performing and people are seeing every little move, but they're really not.
I know, and it's a common anxiety piece that comes up is like, I do not know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
I also see it of the reverse where people will say to me, I always get interrupted when I'm presenting or I'm mid-flow in a meeting. And one of the things you can do is use your hands to your advantage there, right? So you can actually be mid-gesture. Because if you're talking to me right now and like we're facing each other, right, and I'm just talking like this and I pause, you might think that's the time to jump in.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm telling you a story, and I'm going, and by the way, that's mid-gesture, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to stop me there.
No, hands
Because
are
I'm
out.
like, I'm out here, or I'm going here or here. And when you stop and you land your point, you're normally back to the center.
Yeah.
So use hands to your advantage
Oh,
if you're getting interrupted
smart.
too.
Yeah, I like that. And
Yeah.
I think most people naturally talk with their hands when they're like monologuing. You kind of, I do this a lot.
Have you seen me try and read our like post-roll kind of like show notes, and I like start. No one's looking at me, and I'm doing these with my hands while I'm doing it.
Like I look at the social videos of me from podcasting, and I'm just like all over the place. Like,
where are those hands going? Yeah, you want to find a happy balance. And you know how I said earlier, record yourself, your voice, and listen to your voice.
Yes.
Awkward as hell, but also record a video of yourself presenting. I know, right?
I can't wait to find these videos of you.
I'm going to find them. There's so many. I'll send you like the blooper reel of where I'm recording social videos, and I go because I've lost my train of thought. When you record it back, and I had to do this when I was training at NIDA, you can see what you're doing too much of or not enough of that you don't see when you're actually physically delivering it.
Yeah, right.
So that's a good one.
Such a good tip. Okay. How to stop shaking. I feel like we kind of covered this.
Yeah.
Oh, in our last episode, I said clench your butt cheeks.
That is a great tip. I mean, I can't really come back from there. So we're going to go with that as the rapid fire answer is everyone's going to walk around with clenched butt cheeks now.
Clench the butt cheeks, especially if you're facing people. No one's going to see it except for the crew behind you.
No way. And you'll get great glutes out of it.
Exactly.
Perfect. How to prep notes?
How to prep notes.
What do you do?
I write out my whole script.
Same.
And then I memorize it. And then I think about it. I don't read it constantly, but I like have the structure. I'll memorize it. And then I'll just start like saying it in different ways. Like sometimes I'll take it here. Sometimes I'll take it here. But I never come back to that original script because I only use it as a prompt. So I'm never like, oh, I forgot to mention this. I need to like make sure I memorize that. But I try to just use it as a guide because I am a person who shakes on stage and it's only visible when I'm holding notes. Like I physically shake. So my whole thing when I did the tour was I didn't want to have any notes. Like I'd use them to prep and stuff. But I think like 2 days before my presentation, if you have the time, I try not to have any pieces of paper. I try not to read notes. I think it's so important to memorize everything because it also convinces yourself that you're really good and confident on stage. Even if you feel like you need, like, of course, if you need prep notes, have them. But try to memorize those as well because the last thing you want to do is use it as a crux. Every time I have a piece of paper in my hand, even if I have a podcast script in front of me, I always use it as a crux and I always end up reading it because it just feels like if your eyes feel safe looking at it.
Yeah.
Because you can't get it wrong if you're looking and reading at it.
Yes.
But what does look wrong is like the camera's looking at us who just sees us reading it.
Anyway,
back to me.
Great conversation.
And I think it's something that I found it was probably the most difficult skill I had to learn. But once I realized I could memorize things and really take it in and know that I can take it to different places while always coming back to the core stuff I wanted to say, I was able to just boost my confidence by so much by knowing that I know my stuff.
I couldn't agree more. And I think it's the unsexy part that so many people skip. They're like, oh, I just have to write this presentation and then I go up and present it. I'm like, My process is I do the same thing. I write it out word for word and then I memorize it. And what that looks like is saying it out loud over and over and over again. And then I record it and I listen to it in the car. Yes. And I say it along in the car like a real weirdo.
Oh, and that's such a good idea.
There's people like next to me, the traffic lights going, wow, she's having a really long phone conversation. No, I'm saying my notes over and over again. And then like you, I'm not fully wedded to the script, but I know the flow and I know the key messages that I want to try and get across with the audience and where it's worth pausing and inviting them into. Yeah.
Another tip I have for that actually that really helped me was, I don't want to say the name out loud, but think of the worst actor. Like everyone has an actor in their head who's like, they should not be in acting. Like that is a horrible actor. So bad.
Yes.
If that person can memorize their script for a whole movie or TV show, you can do it for a presentation.
Yes, you can. And it really is like just say it over and over again until it gets into your memory. Yeah. You'll figure out what helps you learn as well. Like for me, sometimes it's writing it down.
Yeah.
Some people it's listening to it. But a lot of the time you need to get the brain to mouth connection happening. So you need to be saying it over and over.
So those are our little tips. I felt like they were meant to be really little, but we just gave a lot of advice.
We gave a lot of things away. So if you ever see me present now, you know all my secrets.
If you hear me present, do not look at my butt cheeks. Thank you very much.
Emma's clenching hard.
She's
doing it right now, guys.
So it's come to my favorite part of the podcast, out, which is our one useful thing. This is the one thing we want you to take away from the whole episode. If you've come to this point and you just want to remember one useful thing, this is it. We're actually giving you two though.
We are going to give you two.
We're giving you two.
Yeah.
My one is one I briefly mentioned earlier. Don't ask for feedback too late. The time you want to be asking for feedback is either after you've done your presentation or right in the early stages where you're structuring it out. Don't come to the final product and then ask for feedback because it's going to wig you out completely.
Oh, you will get the biggest wobble, won't you?
Yeah.
You'll question everything you're doing.
Yeah.
That is great feedback.
While you're working on it or after, just have the confidence you know what you're doing and then go with that and then get feedback later on.
Yeah, I love that. I've shared a lot of tips throughout this, and I was thinking about this yesterday going, I've done a lot of training in this space. I'm going to ask a friend of mine, and I thought, who is the best public speaker or presenter that I know that I've worked with? And so I called Will. And I want to share his advice because I think it's really great as coming from someone who I've seen go on that journey from being, entry-level role, coming into work at the first time, presenting for the first time to now, how he presents as well. I'm like, what's your process? Because he's A grade. And so he said this to me. It's context, then content. So first is the context of the room. Who's in there? What are they looking for? What politics are at play? That will shape my content and the way I deliver it. And then I'll deliberately play to the audience and try and pull individuals in. Great tip. Always use their names, right? And then on the content side, I always block out a good amount of time to write things down in detail. I'm talking like word for word. I'll practice that, make tweaks, go again, then less details. It's dot points and prompts. So I practice and then I let myself loosen up on the script. And I think what you can take out of that is like the more that you prepare and rehearse, even in small ways, the less your brain has to panic about it. What I like in his tip there is he's balancing out the context and who's in the room with what he needs to deliver to.
Yeah, that is so
thank you, Will.
Smart. Thank you, Will.